Oh, you can see here, it was up to the windows.
So, your hand doing that?
Yeah, and you can see across the back of the seat, it was right up on that level, just up to here.
Neil Munro surveying the damage to his Suzuki SX4 and pondering a lucky escape. Just hours earlier, he'd been heading to work.
I left here about 6:02. Went down the drive, noticed there was a fair bit of rock and rubble from the storm on the road. But I proceeded down there, and because there's no markings on our road, it's Darcy Hill Road, and the next thing I realised the car was in water. I thought I'd try and reverse out of it, but the car was just floating, and it sort of turned 180 degrees and then got washed over the bank and came up against a willow tree.
What happened then?
Well, I thought I've got to get out of this thing, but because the water was up to the windows, the motor had cut, and the computer disabled it, and I couldn't get out the doors. So I tried to kick the driver's window out because they'd locked. So I tried to kick that out and couldn't. And then some people came from the neighbouring house with torches, and the rest is history, really. They started calling out to me to stay in the car, and they got a truck and drove it into the middle of the water and threw me a rope so I could grab hold of the rope and then get out of the car.
So you managed to break the window, is that how you got out? Or
No, I fiddled with the key, turning it on and off, and something clicked and released the doors, and I got out the passenger's door.
So the electrics failed and locked you, and how long were you in there for?
Oh, it would have only been 5-10 minutes at most. But it's really quite frightening how quickly it happens. The car floats, and you've got no control, and it just goes wherever the current takes it. And I was worried it was going to go over the bank and into the ravine.
How close were you to that happening?
Well, if it hadn't sort of rested up against a willow tree, it would have gone into the main channel, and I don't like to speculate on what might happen then.
That 5 to 10 minutes, though, it must have felt like a lot longer than 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, my main problem was I wasn't really panicking at that stage. It was just trying to work out how to get out of the car, and had this awful thought, is this how I'm going to die? I'm going to drown, which just seems a macabre thing to think, but that was the thought that came into my head.
That must be what rushed through your head. Like, what else would?
Yeah, because the frightening part about it was there was nobody around. There were people at that house, but they were sort of like 20 metres away, and there was nobody on the road. There were no other vehicles just in that immediate vicinity. And I thought, there's no one there to even know that I'm in this trouble.
Did they just hear you or see you? Or
they possibly heard me, although when the motor cut, I thought I'll try and blow the horn. I could hear it making a noise, but the horn would have been under the water. And the next thing I know, I saw torches sort of on the edge of the flood.
Neil says his biggest fear was how to get out of his car. He said he moved to the passenger seat and tried to kick the windscreen out with his feet.
I don't know whether this is common with modern cars, but it was really frightening that locked down and I couldn't open. I even tried the back doors. I couldn't open any of them.
What about like the boot? Did you try the boot opener?
I couldn't get to the boot. Well, I probably could have, but no, I didn't try that.
And now you're warm and safe and dry and home, got a day off work?
That's right, got a day off work. The boss said stay home, so I did that.
I can imagine he said stay home.
Yeah, but I'm fine. I mean, physically I'm fine. It was just the mental trauma, I guess, the fright it gives you.
Yeah. How are you doing that mentally now?
Oh, pretty good. Got a slightly higher respect for water, though, because I've always loved water, swimming and everything, and even floodwater, I never realised how quickly circumstances change and you have no control. And the car, it floated for quite a while, and you can feel the water coming in around your feet, and then within a few minutes it's right up over your lap, up to your armpits almost.
It's a similar story a few kilometres north. The house isn't flooded, but the same can't be said for the land around it. The back of this property here on Mill Road in Takanini is usually just a small sedate creek. But now, after a night of torrential rain, it's more like a river. Moana, who's lived here for 10 years, told me that if I tried to walk out the back, I would be up to my head in water. I'd probably have to swim across the back here. The road is closed and there are paddocks here that are absolutely flooded, and it's going to take days to drain all of this water. How wide would you say it is at the moment? Oh, here's a fish.
It's still alive. Maybe we should put it in the water. I don't want to touch it.
Yes, that's right. A fish has washed up on Moana's driveway.
So as you can see, It's heavily flooded. Those pine trees are on another bank, that's the other side. And
So if I was to walk out there now, how deep do you think I would go, or would I have to swim?
oh, you'd have to swim. Yeah, definitely. You'd probably go down 4 or 5 of you in there.
So it's a lot of water in a really short amount of time, right? What was it like last night?
Oh, it just poured all night. It was nice to listen to. Yeah. So all this wood is normally stacked up over there. So, and that's a part of a drain over there. That's a cover. So I'll just let the fish go.
Off he goes.
He's swimming. Watch out, boys. They'll get it.
And with around 100 millimetres of rain expected this evening and through to tomorrow, Moana's hoping her luck continues. For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.